Hello and welcome to Unexplained Arkansas. This is Amber.
And this is Lisa, the fun one.
The fun one. Yeah. And I guess I'm the serious one. I don't know.
You're really not. So.
Not in real life. In real life, it's flip-flopped.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is episode number 39, The Lady in Black. But before we get into that, we have some shout-outs to do, right, Lise?
Sorry, you just said 39. It's 38.
Okay. This is episode 38. Well, when I wrote it in my notes, we were doing them backwards. Remember, we had that big discussion on when to do what?
Yes.
Okay. So I am sorry, everyone, all listeners, that I offended grossly with that misjudgment of numbers. It is number 38, The Lady in Black.
A special 38.
Yes, and it's an unexplained short because this is an episode that's not quite as long as our normal ones, but it's still unexplained and it's still really interesting.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. I mansplained that.
Yes, you did.
Okay, what's our shout outs?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so shout outs to Patreon. So shout out to our new Patreons of this week. It goes to Haley, and she's a Slumber Party friend. Yay, we love
Slumber
Haley.
Party Haley. Hello.
And then Ashley, she's a Slumber Party friend as well. Hi, Ashley.
Hey, Ashley.
We appreciate you so much, all of you. And then Beth is a premium heifer.
Oh,
and
Beth, the premium heifer. Awesome.
I just love that name.
I don't even remember why we chose that.
I don't know why we did that, but that's awesome. So Haley, Ashley, Beth, love you. And if you want to be part of our Patreon Nation, just go to our Patreon page and click. And if you have trouble, I'm sure your kid or grandkid can help you. So
now
yes,
we do have our
mom.
We do have our show. Yeah, like my mom. My mom can't do the Patreon thing. Okay, so we do have a show that's just on Patreon, and that's called Scary Heifers. And it is really funny, but also really cool because we talk about vintage and new horror movies. And we actually had our premiere episode this week, and we talked about the movie Scream.
Yes, we did. And it was epic. And our Patreon listeners, they have it. They got to listen and enjoy, and they loved it.
They did.
I mean, who doesn't
really
love
good.
Scream?
Yeah, exactly. We got really good feedback. The next ones that we're doing Jaws coming up, and then we'll do I Know What You Did Last Summer. So 2 of our favorites.
How about combined? No.
Combined.
I Know What You Did Last Summer, Jaws.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so today, Lisa, we will be talking about the famous Arkadelphia legend, the Lady in Black. And what's so interesting about this is I went into the story thinking it was one legend, one piece of lore, whatever, but it's actually 2. There's actually 2 rival stories. The sources I'll be using include one from Henderson and a couple from Ouachita. And then while this story basically is in the same vicinity, it's 2 rival schools that have their own versions of the story. Isn't that neat?
That is very neat. And they're both in Arkadelphia.
Yeah, they are apparently huge rivals. Ouachita State University, Ouachita Baptist University, and then Henderson State University are apparently big rivals, and they're also rivals when it comes to this grim fairy tale. Oh, not fairy tale. It's not a fairy tale.
What is it?
I'm so tired. No, this grim tale and how it went down. So both schools have a different story explaining this mysterious woman in black. So,
Bring it.
Yes. So the story takes place in Arkadelphia, and this is true in both versions. And Arkadelphia, of course, is in Clark County, Arkansas. According to the 2020 census, it has a population of about 10,380.
Really?
And it is
in the whole county? Wow.
Yes. Or no.
Oh, in the
whole city. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Wow. But the city is the county seat of Clark County.
Okay.
So, cool. I mean, if that's the county seat and it's only 10,000, it's probably low as far as population.
Gotcha.
Now, it is situated at the foothills of the Ouachita Mountains, which are absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. And it's on that Interstate 30, which we've talked about several times on this podcast. We have, several legends that go with that particular highway.
The Falk Monster episode.
Right? Well, I mean, you can get there from Arkadelphia really quick, actually. But I was talking like the Gurdon Lights on that highway and, all that.
And we haven't covered the Gurdon Light. That's coming.
Yeah, we will cover it. We've talked about it, but not covered it.
Okay.
Arkadelphia is also 65 miles from Little Rock, 40 miles from Crater of Diamonds, and 25 miles from Hot Springs. And then, of course, it's 10 miles from the DeGray Lake Resort area. And as I said before, there are 2 universities there, and they're actually across the street or across the highway from each other, which I think is interesting. Yes.
I have not been to OBU, which is a travesty. I think me and Elle plan to tour it, but I've been to Henderson a couple times. So we do have a family member that graduated from Henderson, and then Elle had a dance event, and it's a really cool campus. I can say that.
I haven't been in a long time. I stayed at OBU for a journalism camp back in high school. We stayed for like a week, and that was the only time that I was there. And then I visited a college friend who lived in the dorms in Henderson. And I guess I stayed in the haunted dorm for a night or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Anything happen?
No. Okay. So actually, I don't even think I stayed the night. We were just there for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So just to give you a quick explanation of Ouachita and Henderson, Ouachita Baptist University is a private Baptist institution. It takes its name from the Ouachita River, which forms the eastern campus boundary, which I didn't know that. And it is affiliated with the Arkansas Baptist State Convention, which is a state convention affiliated with the Southern Baptist Convention. So there are all
my
those
church
facts.
is affiliated.
Yes.
Plug.
Yes.
First Baptist Church, Searcy. There you go.
And then there is Henderson State, and Henderson State University is a public university in Arkadelphia, and it was founded in 1890, and it was founded as Arkadelphia Methodist College. Henderson right now has an enrollment of around 2,500 students, so not just a whole lot of students at Henderson.
Okay, that's not very big. I didn't realize that.
It's kind of small. Now the name changed from Arkansas Methodist over to Henderson College to honor somebody named Charles Christopher Henderson, and then for a while it was Henderson Brown College to honor some other guy in 1911.
Some other guy with the last name Brown.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was official.
Yeah, sorry. That's about as official as I can get. But
I love you.
In 1929, it became like Henderson State.
It just dropped the Brown guy, who really we didn't care about anyway. Some guy, Walter William Brown, some guy. Okay.
Somebody like his great granddaughter is going to message me and be like, how could you do that? How could you say that? Yeah.
Rude.
All right. So these are rivals in many ways, apparently. And they have certain things that happen every year in accordance with the rivalry. I mean, this is a very well documented and participated in rivalry.
Ooh,
so
I want more on that.
Yes, it is a real rivalry. I wonder if they prank each other. I wonder if they did. Probably not anymore, but because that stuff, you don't do that anymore.
I wonder if they're like, if they just like line up across, from their
like
campuses.
Red Rover, like do a giant game of Red Rover.
They just like glare at each other, like like Mean Girls or something.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's interesting that they're right across the street from each other. It's not a big deal to have like more than one college in the same town, but to be right across the road from each other, that's interesting.
I mean, and that instantly creates the fiction or friction. Sorry,
friction. Well, in this case, probably some fiction too. So you're probably right there. Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about the infamous Lady in Black or Woman in Black that this story has been around for almost 100 years. So it's a pretty old story. And, when I started looking into the history of the story, I thought it would just be a one and done. There would be one legend. We would talk about it, whatever. Well, it turns out there's two. And they're, and they disagree about who she was and even where she went to school. Some of them think she went to Henderson and some of them think she went to Ouachita. So
this is where the friction comes in.
This is the friction. Yes.
And the fiction.
And the fiction, yes. So the Democrat Gazette interviewed a historian from Henderson University named David Searcy. And he stated that the lore for them is that a Henderson girl began dating an older boy from Ouachita across the street there.
Ooh.
Yes. And so as it
Romeo
is
and Juliet situation.
I guess so. I guess it would be kind of a Romeo Juliet situation, but an older guy, I guess, from the rival college. So anyway, as it is very well known, at this point in time, there was a huge rivalry. This was during the 1920s, and the rivalry was apparently really big back then.
I love a good 1920s rivalry. Sorry.
Oh, I know.
The imagery is just huge for me right now.
So apparently she just fell in love with this boy. Ooh. And he broke up with her, apparently for another girl from the next. He did. Yes, from the next class of freshmen. I guess he was like one of those Matthew McConaughey types from that one movie. Dazed and confused. The girls just stay the same age. Yeah, so I guess he
needed a newer model.
Yeah, well,
or maybe he only dates freshmen.
Yeah, but and I forgot to give a trigger warning at the beginning here because some of this is a little bit unsettling. What they said happened to the girl. So if that kind of thing is triggering for you, you can turn it off now. But if not, then let's just keep going. So the story goes that after she was broken up with by this boy, she later plunged to her death from what is now DeSoto Bluff. And I looked up DeSoto Bluff because I've never seen that before. And the DeSoto Bluff Trail in Arkadelphia is a flat 25-mile trail that takes visitors through a natural area and then ends on this famous overlook, which is apparently where she jumped.
Oh.
Yeah. And
because she was upset about being dumped for the freshman. Okay.
I guess. I don't know. It's sad. A view of the Ouachita River can be seen below the bluff overlook. Ooh, okay. Yeah, that is just creepy. Just that whole image is creepy. So she now returns to haunt the Henderson female dorms every year, either on Halloween or during the week of the Battle of the Ravine, which is what they call this annual football game, I guess they have between Henderson and Ouachita. And Searcy says she's still looking for the freshman girl who stole her boyfriend.
Oh,
that heifer.
Oh, that is creepy.
That heifer. I know. Yeah. Where is that heifer? Let's find her. Yeah. So supposedly you can hear her screams and see the light of her candle during homecoming every year. Ooh. And yes. And this is like a huge.
And where do you see this candle?
This is a Henderson. This is Henderson's side. Yes.
Like, is there like a dorm or like her dorm?
It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So supposedly, wait. So let me just tell you the dorm. It's Smith Hall, which is the female dorm. And it's been predominantly female since the 1970s. And I think it's like 9 stories. I don't know. Maybe it's 8. It's very, very tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's about, I guess she's on the top floor, one of the top floors. But supposedly you can hear her screams and see the light of her candle during homecoming. And each year the freshmen will hear the story of the Lady in Black at the annual Pine Tree speech that is given on the first day of class.
Oh.
Yeah. In the fall semester.
Okay.
So somebody, I don't know if some dude just stands out there under a pine tree and says, "Lo and behold, the story of the Lady in Black." I don't know how that transpires, but they do the talk about the lady, every fall semester.
That is very interesting, and I love that they carry on this tradition.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah. So Smith Hall, like I said,
phone us in, people, if you go there. Yeah,
if you went there, if you went to Henderson or Ouachita, yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, in my notes it says that she's in the 8th floor somewhere. And the stories of her sightings actually began in the late 1920s, like 1929. So not long after her alleged demise. And, you know, she also rattles chains and, you know, like I said, walks around with that candle, you know, very, very scary. And, you know, that is the Henderson version of the legend. Now, Ouachita also has a version. Ouachita's version gives the ghostly girl a name, and it's Jane. And according to them, and this all came, I got like most of this information from 2 blogs written by students, and I thought it was really interesting because, you know, they were given like firsthand accounts and things like that of people who had heard things. But the first account was, or the first blog post was by a student named Addie Woods. And Woods says that in the 1920s, Jane began dating a Henderson State student allegedly named Joshua. I've dated a Josh or 2. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So
then you liked that Joshua Jackson that played Pacey.
I loved. Yeah, I loved Pacey. Ugh. Yeah. So in this, Pacey was it. Anyway, so in this version, it's flipped. The girl was from Ouachita in this tale. So Joshua's friends teased him for dating a girl from the rival school and just drove him nuts, so much so that apparently he ended things with her the day before homecoming. Dude.
Whoa.
Oh he was probably haunted the rest of his life. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he took a Henderson girl to the homecoming dance instead. Oh, yeah. What's up with these guys? I mean, either way you go, the guy's the jerk in this story. So
that's consistent. Sorry, guys.
That is consistent, yes.
Sorry, guys.
Yes. So after hearing this, Jane allegedly walked back to the Cone Bottoms dorm at Ouachita, put on a floor-length black dress and a veil, and then threw herself down an elevator shaft.
Ooh.
So now her ghost apparently tools around Cone Bottoms, still wearing that black dress and veil. Okay, so
this is very much like the Gertie with the
that's what I was going to say. Yeah. So, like the Ouachita people, their version is much creepier, like all the way around. Yeah, because like it's Henderson. Dramatic. Yeah, it's more dramatic. And wait till you get to this. We get to this part. So she not only walks the halls and flickers a candle over at Ouachita, but apparently she'll stand over students while they sleep. And like the student will wake up and look up, and there she'll be over their bed.
Oh no! I'd be like, "Oh girl, I gotta go home."
Yeah.
Come get me, Mom.
Yeah. So, and also she's been known to just kind of hide in a closet or hang out in the closet. It reminds me of one of those awful movies where I'm serious. I've seen this in a movie where the creepy woman in black is like hunkering down in a closet or something.
Yeah. Well, they have those. Oh, that kind of reminds me of The Conjuring too. The nun when she sees the
that's
always a corner or a closet or something. It's creepy.
Yeah. Oh, and get this. There's also an unexplained cold breeze in the building where she is.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we like cold breezes.
I have to. Gosh, I have to have a cold breeze at my age. Yes. Okay. So, according to another blog post in 2013, there are other versions of the story. So those aren't the only versions. An OBU post or blog post said that one version says that the girl's fiance was killed in World War II, and then she killed herself, unfortunately, when she was notified of his death. Now, that is really sad.
That is
like I said,
sad.
Trigger warning with all of this episode. Over the years, there have been reports of blood on walls, and this is OBU, blood on walls, windows breaking without any explanation, a figure appearing in a window. Oh, that is creepy. And old photographs of Cone Bottoms and orbs being seen, I guess, around the photos, and orbs being seen. Oh, wait. No, I got that wrong. A figure appearing in a window in Cone Bottoms photographs. So if you look at old photographs of Cone Bottoms, supposedly you'll see her in a window. And then the orbs are just seen in the basement. Now,
I don't like, orbs do nothing for me.
Yeah.
Bugs.
I know.
I don't know.
It could be the light from your cell phone. That's what I thought.
Now, a woman standing over your face when you wake up.
Oh, do you remember the broke neck lady from, what was that show? Hill House? The Hill House show on Netflix.
Oh,
the broke neck lady. Oh my gosh, that scared me to death when that little girl looked up and the broke neck lady was like looking down at her. I think that was a jump scare.
Really good.
That was a jump scare that I will never forget right there.
Yeah, I will say that haunting of Hill House on the Netflix. Yes, very. Yeah. And that has a little bit of an Arkansas connection and a connection to you in a very Kevin Bacon-y way.
Well, a very roundabout way. Yeah.
But it does have a actor from Heber.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What's his name? Paxton Singleton?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's
plug
it
for him.
Okay, so according to an article by Thought Catalog, she is what catalog. Oh, I know. I love that. What is that? I don't know, but it came up on my Google search. Okay.
I like that it's a catalog.
It's a catalog,
like a newsletter or bulletin.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. Because thoughts should be cataloged. Okay.
They should.
So this particular part of the catalog was about types of ghosts. So I wanted to kind of pinpoint what kind of ghost she is, I guess.
Okay.
And so she really is one of two ghosts, I think. Okay. A funnel ghost or a lemure ghost. And I may be saying this wrong, and I'm going to have a million ghost hunters calling me going, you're saying that wrong. But a funnel ghost, these are ghosts.
In the ghosts, voice. You're doing that wrong.
Yes. These ghosts are loved ones returning to visit. They most frequently appear in old historical buildings or inside of private homes where they once lived. Funnel ghosts cause cold spots when they are visibly seen. They look like a swirling funnel. They can also be caught in photographs as a spiral of light. Okay, so there you go.
Now, I haven't heard of these just heard of like intelligent hauntings or just like, what are those hauntings when it's just like someone's imprint, like their energy's just there, so it's like the same thing over and over?
Yeah,
like
they have the whole list of them on this Thought catalog. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Okay, so it's either lemur or lemure. I don't know, but lemures are it's an ancient term, I guess, from like Roman or Greek times. But these are angry ghosts who wander around, and they are associated with darkness, doom, and dread. And the reason they're so bad is because they had their life cut short and did not have a proper burial. They might not have had family to mourn them either, or they may just be hacked off, so there you go. Yeah.
I always tell Daryl, like if I die, I'm going to, and he gets married to someone skinny, I'm going to come back and haunt them. I know. I will haunt them. I'm just telling you. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
We did discuss that theoretically he has to go first, but then I'm really going first. I don't know. We're going to go together. Like in the Notebook.
Oh gosh. Oh, this just took a very weird turn. There you go. Okay, so that's not the only legends, though. There's actually two more that I found at ghostquest.net.
Oh, good.
Strange websites. Ghostquest.net says that in Henderson, there's also a ghost named Simon that haunts the theater in Arkansas Hall. And he's Simon, and he's known to drop newspapers and other things on the stage from the catwalk above. And
catwalk.
Yes.
Simon's doing his thing on the catwalk.
He can be seen in the balcony section, and sometimes, I thought that said he flips people off. No, he flips seats as a prank. He flips seats as a prank. Okay.
Now, I think that would be crazy if he was flipping people off.
It does say that they hear strange footsteps and giggling in the theater.
So he's playful. Simon sounds playful.
Yeah. And then Ouachita has, it says students report seeing orbs and eyes in the basement area. That's probably Jane. And
basements are a problem.
They are a problem. I have one and I'm scared to death of mine. And
Paul says ours is on it.
I think mine is too. I hate my basement. All right. And blood has been seen on the walls of the dorms at night. What is up with all this blood at the Ouachita Baptist College? All right. At night, windows.
It's very dramatic at the OBU, we decided.
and at night, windows have been broken on several occasions with no explanation. Again, I think this is Jane just still being hacked off. So there you go. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's that legend. And, I did a quick search to see if I could find anybody named Jane that died in the 20s in Arkansas. And, you can do that now thanks to Ancestry and find a grave and whatnot. And I have not been able to locate someone that fits that description. But really the only way that we'll be able to find out if she's real is to go to the archives at the two colleges, look in every yearbook in the 20s, and then cross-reference those girls' names with people who passed away in the 20s. And I just
it sounds like a job for me.
Yes.
It sounds like something I did in our first episode.
Well, and that's that, and I thought about that this morning when I was putting all this together. I'm like, this is like Gertie Light.
Gertie Light?
Gertie Light. This is like, after you spent all that time researching on her, and then I'm just like, hey, there's this ghost, and she rattles some chains, and she wears a black veil. Yeah, so sorry about that.
I really like your description of the brown guy. Whatever his name is.
Whatever, just, another old guy in Arkansas. But anyway, so yeah, I think that to really do this story justice, somebody needs to go down there. Maybe both of us. I don't know. Somebody. And
when you say somebody, you say me.
No, me.
You're looking at me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we really wanted to find out if she was real, I mean, I would like, because, we say this all the time when we're by ourselves and, not being videoed or audio recorded, but we always say this, that all these stories started from something, from maybe a grain of truth, maybe a seed of something that really did happen. And, I love to find out what that is. And then it grew, yes.
And then Henderson took it over and added their own twist. No,
Henderson's isn't as fun as the Ouachita version. Well, but I think both are sad, because what happened to the girl, that's totally sad. And, I hate talking about stuff like that. But as far as the ghost manifesting, they're much more creative with it. At Baptist College. So, yeah. So there you go.
Leave it to us Baptists.
Leave it. Yeah. Well, I'm Baptist too. I'm Baptist. Yeah.
I said leave it to us, as in us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm missionary Baptist, which is different. So anyway. Okay. So now that's it for my little short, because this is really short today.
Short.
Yeah, it is short, because I wanted to tell you about my trip. And I am
so this is the real reason.
Banter time. So if you're done with us, if you're done, bye. But if you like the banter, keep listening. Okay. So we went on this road trip, my sons and I, over the last 6 days, and we went all the way down to Mississippi. We went through Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. So we did a lot of sightseeing, and we went to a lot
of the South.
It was a tour de South. Yes. Now, my favorite place, of course, to go was Florida. That was gorgeous. But I love Mississippi, and there's so much culture there, and there's so much just, oh my gosh, there's so many
it's really pretty.
It is pretty. Yes. So on my bucket list of scary crap has been going to Yazoo City to see the grave of the Yazoo City witch. Now, my other best friend, Sherry, has already been there. She went a couple of years ago and took pictures of the grave. And the grave was laying down and cracked. And I'll get to the story in a minute. But I've always wanted to go there, because when I was a little girl, there was this movie that used to play on the Disney Channel constantly about Yazoo City. And the whole movie wasn't about the Yazoo witch, but she was a big part of it. And I always thought that was the scariest thing I had ever seen in my life, was the Yazoo witch story and her character or whatever in that movie. And so it's always intrigued me. So
what is this movie? I've never seen this movie.
Well, what's it called? It's like the good old boys of some, I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I found it on a YouTube search because I looked up Yazoo City Witch movie Disney, and it popped up. So I'll link it when I when I link everything for this episode. But it's one of those, it's not on Disney Plus. You have to like search it out. Kind of like The Girl Made of Glass, which is another movie I used to watch all the time when I was a little girl. And it's a Disney horror movie. It's way too scary for something that is Disney. So like there for like a minute, Disney was putting out scary movies that were just kind of a little too much for 5 and 6 year olds, but I was watching them. So yeah. But anyway,
as you should.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, that's how the Yazoo City Witch thing started for me. It's always been on my bucket list. So I finally got to visit the cemetery in Yazoo City, and it's Glenwood Cemetery, and it's historic and dates back well into the 1800s. There are hundreds of graves. It's just absolutely amazing. The structures within it, the things that I saw besides the witch's grave. There are unknown soldiers, like I think there were like 15 all in a row, unknown soldiers from the Civil War. There was a group of nuns, which I thought this was crazy, from like the 1800s with a big, like there was a big cross in the middle, and then there were all these nuns' graves around it. So it was really interesting. But the big thing was the witch's grave. So the Yazoo City Witch, basically the story, I'll give you the very short story. In 1884, there was a Mississippi woman who was found to have allegedly murdered a bunch of local fishermen, and I guess she kept them in her house afterwards. I don't know. I wasn't there, but on May
really?
20, on
I
May
like
20,
that addition.
On May 25th, 1884, I guess they'd heard so many stories about this murdering woman down in the swamps that the law enforcement showed up at her door, found a bunch of bones, chased her out of her house, and she ran into the swamp and fell into a puddle of quicksand. Yes, that is an actual thing. Yes, she fell in quicksand. And so she was like dying in the quicksand. Because, like, I guess you panic when you get in quicksand and, you just get deeper
if you
and deeper.
move. Yeah.
I think you're supposed to. By the time they found her, I mean, she was, I don't know, about to die. And she cursed Yazoo City while she was in there dying, I guess. And she promised that the curse would manifest within 20 years. So then, 20 years later, on May 25th, 1904, so that's exactly 20 years, a fire destroyed the town of Yazoo City. Now, there were several actual causes given for the fire, but you know what the locals believed.
Oh, yeah.
That it was the curse. So, yeah.
It has to be a witch, a lady that did this.
So the most interesting thing about her grave, though, that I found was a bunch of creepy bees had made a makeshift beehive out of one of the posts, because her grave is chained. There is chains around her entire grave, like they don't want her to get out again. And the chains keep breaking, and probably somebody goes in there and he breaks a chain and then runs off. But supposedly the chains break all the time. But one thing and Bo noticed this, my son Bo noticed this, that one of the big metal posts where the chains are linked had this little hole in it, and it was full of bees, and they're like creepy bees. We're talking like what was that movie where Nicolas Cage was running around, with what was that, Wicker Man? We're talking like those kinds of bees, like
I remember there was bees in like Candyman. Wasn't there bees?
Yeah, it was kind of like that. It was like the bees you would only see in a horror movie, and it was so sunny that day. The photos I took really didn't do it justice. So, but it was creepy to the max. But the grave had been stood up, and it was still cracked. No one knows how the grave cracked. Yada yada. So very interesting.
The witch.
Yeah. So the guy that made this story famous was named Willie Morris, and he wrote the book that Disney movie was based on, actually. And he died a few years ago, and they buried him like 15 feet away from the witch. So
there, Willie.
Yeah. So there. So yeah, poor dude. He gets to have a Disney movie about his life, and then he's buried next to a witch. So,
awesome.
But it was a huge
That's
deal.
really everybody's dream, though. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. So
yeah, I couldn't find it. I searched, but it's not popping up on the Google.
It's real, I promise. I promise it's real. Oh yeah, it's the River Pirates, because I was
River
Pirates. That's what it's called. It's the timeless story of a boy's adventures. I'm sorry, I can't talk today. It's a timeless story of a boy's adventures growing up in a small southern town, Yazoo City, in the 1940s during the World War II era. Okay, there you go. That's it.
Oh,
the River Pirates.
Go Google it.
You can't watch it on Disney. You'll have to YouTube it. So. Yeah. And if you're going to YouTube that one, then the Girl Made of Glass is a good old Disney horror movie. And then there was the Watcher in the Woods with Bette Davis. That one's freaky too.
I might watch that one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's freaky. Yeah, they did a redo of it with what's her face, Angelica Houston, I think. I don't know, somebody like that. So yeah, that's all I have today. I mean, I know it's kind of a hodgepodge, but I'm kind of tired after all that driving that I did. So,
well, how about we'll take an adventure, and I'll go into the archives at OBU in Henderson, and we will look for this Jane.
Yes. Well,
and maybe we need to find Simon. He sounds like fun.
Yeah. Yeah, flipping seats over, flipping people off. Yeah.
Flipping the seats, doing the catwalk. He's working the catwalk.
Yeah. He, if I would have found him first, I probably would have investigated him, because he sounded more fun. So
sounded lively. Yes. Well, people, if you have your own personal stories from living on the campus, phone us.
I know we have some high school friends that went to OBU that probably know this legend and can,
stories.
Can probably already do on the Facebook. I need to check it, because I put something on there about it, and I already had 4 or 5 responses.
We have a lot of people, and you may want to channel that when we do our titling or whatever, but we do have a lot of people at our church that are alumni of OBU, and I had heard the story. I didn't know that this was the story. I didn't know anything about the story, but when I talked to them about the Galloway Gertie, which if you all don't know about that, go back and that's our very first episode, and it's the quote unquote ghost of Harding. But I was told about the ghost at OBU, the girl that fell down the elevator shaft. So yeah. So
I'm looking at the
she's
comments.
Very famous.
Yeah, you said it should be the Lady in Red. What, the awful 80s song? Lady in Red. Yeah. Golly. Oh my gosh. That just struck a core memory. Oh my gosh.
A bad one.
Being in my mom's little 80s car, driving around, Lady in Red, with no air conditioning.
No air. Being really hot, having to listen to this song. That's how I feel.
Going to the Piggly Wiggly.
That's how I feel when you took me to the Sonic listening to Crystal Gale. So there.
No, I don't think anything could be worse than driving to the Piggly Wiggly in the backseat of my mom's ugly 80s. I forgot what kind it is. It was one of those long 80s cars, listening to Lady in Red. With those hot plastic seats. Oh my God. Okay, so yeah.
Shout out to your mom.
It was such an ugly car. It looked like it reminded me of a banana. It was yellow like a banana.
This is terrible.
No,
poor Paula Kay.
I know she does. You should try. You should try.
It was the 80s.
Yes, I know. And she probably had her 80s hair and her, her white belt. She always wore a white belt.
Oh. You probably had your 80s hair.
Yeah, I did.
I think we posted a picture on Mother's Day. We post pictures, guys. So go back and look.
Yeah, you can go see.
Those were 80s pictures.
Yes, definitely. You can see what our moms look like. So, okay, well, that's it. We got to get out of here. So,
yay.
Thank you for being here. This was an unexplained short.
Yeah, unexplained short. And no, just real fast, Amber. Slow your roll. Okay. So go find us on the Patreon. And the Instagram, Unexplained Arkansas on the Instagram. Our Facebook, people, we need to give a shout out because our Facebook group is awesome and huge. They're just huge. So just go check us out on Facebook. Yes. And binge our episodes, people. And YouTube, please go subscribe. So do all the things to support us. Rate, review, give us a 5-star rating, preferably. And then subscribe and follow us and review. Definitely. And review again. And then share our episodes with all your friends and family.
Like they need to when you start that spiel, they need to write it down on a list. Like there's so many things to do. Do this. It sounds like when you call me in the morning.
Yeah, I'm like, do this. And we are working on design for our t-shirts.
Yes.
And so we're going to let our Facebook group vote on that. And then we will begin our merch nation, like our Patreon nation. It'll be merch nation.
Okay, you're not going to start a Lisa Nation next, are you?
No, it's going to be Ambi Nation.
Oh, God. Whatever. Okay.
Whatever. Okay.
All right. Okay. We will talk to you guys soon. All right. Bye.